Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, is it over? Is the Bitcoin correction over? Bitcoin is starting to climb back up, slowly but surely, and altcoins are having a pretty good day, pretty good bounce up. So let's talk about what is going on with Bitcoin. Is the correction over? There's a couple of things I want to show you guys, including one huge endorsement that you don't want to miss. So let's get started. Thanks for tuning in. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams almost every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday, everyone. I think it's Saturday. Yes, it is Saturday. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video last night. You know, just a little recorded video with some fancy editing and, of course, clips from my interview with Jeb, which he will post the full interview on his channel later next week. But, you know, I had a good time, so I wanted to show you guys a few things. But today, you could see Bitcoin is above 37.7, and it climbed as high as 38. And if you zoom out a little bit, you realize that, yeah, Bitcoin is starting, right? Starting as way up, slowly but surely, but still we're not back to the 40s yet, right? Can we see a good push up in the near future? Well, I do have some encouraging things to show you guys. However, today is really like a day for altcoins because Bitcoin dominance dropped a little bit more. And you could see that there's a pretty good recovery for most of the altcoins out there, right? And today, clear winner is Avalanche above 8%. And many others like Luna finally starting to turn into green. And you could see all around, good recovery day. So you can't feel bad about today. But of course, there are still a lot of fear, right? So that's the main question. Is the correction over? Just because we had a good day does not mean that the correction's over, right? Well, according to Fear and Greed Index, yeah, we're still in the extreme fear level. Even though last few days has been a little bit better, we're still at 24. And overall, you could see that we're still in this bottom portion of where we are right now with extreme fear. So, is it time that we finally break out of this? And even so, you look at what happened in 28,000, you know, it took a little bit before we break out of that extreme fear level. So, is that around the corner? That's the main question. Well, I did talk about the stock market quite a lot recently, right? We ended on a good note on Friday, NASDAQ being above 3.13%, which is very positive. Obviously, this had a big effect on crypto overall. And this was really led by Apple. However, the thing I'm paying attention to is this right here, this latest headline. The latest COVID variant is 1.5 times more contagious than Omicron, and it's already in half of the United States. So, is this going to cause some fear next week, right? We know that Omicron is already, I think, the fastest spreading COVID variant. Now we have something that's even faster than Omicron. So could this cause some more fear, some more market uncertainty this coming week? Maybe, but we don't have a lot of data yet. You know, how impactful is this strain? We don't know, right? We know Omicron is pretty I guess tamer than the Delta variant. Not an expert at this, but if this is even tamer, this could actually be a good thing. But you know what? Just something to pay attention to this coming week. And of course, why it's important to keep track of these things, because right now everyone is still paying attention to what's going on in our economy and how it's going to affect the Fed decision, which was a nothing burger for January, but in February, they're going to meet again, and in March, they're going to decide. They're going to actually implement what they decide. So, again, this all relates to what the traders are anticipating from the Fed. We do have a lot of reports about weaker spending. Home sales are down, right? But we also have some good stuff like unemployment is down. So it's a tough decision. It's a tough decision for the Fed, right? So right now, that's why Wall Street is kind of like wonky. Like sometimes you get good news and it turns bad news, and then bad news is bad news, and then no news is good news. It's a weird time right now. It's a really weird time. MTMD says, quick, say not medical advice. When did I give him medical advice? I didn't say anything about medical advice. All right, just chill. Chill, MT. So this is what's happening right now, right? So we got to really pay attention to what's going on in the economy, because every single little thing can have an impactful decision from the Fed, right? And this is why the market is still kind of uncertain at this point. Okay, but what's interesting is there's many that anticipated that supply chain, which is contributing to the high inflation, will improve. However, I just saw this headline where China cuts their rates, not increase their rates, to boost their economy. So it does sound like China is having a really hard time with their economy. So this is definitely going to impact the supply chain space and probably not going to make it better. So the anticipation of supply chain improving in 2022 and cutting inflation is probably out the window. So you put all that together, yeah, it's probably not going to help inflation. So that also plays into what the Fed has to do. All right. So with that said, we do have some stuff to look forward to this coming week, right? But in the meantime, this weekend, the beauty of Bitcoin is it never sleeps. And we don't have to wait until Monday opening bell to see what happens. We're already seeing some of the effects. People are starting to come back, right? People are starting to get a little bit less fearful, especially the ones that have panic sold and oversold, right? So now we're seeing some of that money coming back, which is very positive. And I do have one big endorsement to share with you guys. And I think you guys will enjoy this because I just saw this headline. JP Morgan lowers its Bitcoin fair price estimate down to $38,000. Now, why is this endorsement? You may be thinking, well, previously, JP Morgan said that Bitcoin is worth $146,000. So they basically cut it to 1/4 from $164,000 down to $38,000. Now, think about this. When did they have that price prediction of $146,000? In November. And we know November was high for Bitcoin, right? So it does appear what's happening is this. JP Morgan maybe thought that Bitcoin was going to come down and enter this bear trend. So they touted that Bitcoin was going to go to 146,000, causing more FOMO around that time when Bitcoin hit 69,000. Now what they're doing is trying to spread FUD, telling people that Bitcoin should only be worth 38,000 and no more. And this happens to be the price that we're hovering around right now, right? And why is that? It's probably because they know this is towards the bottom and they want to accumulate more, right? We know that there are manipulation going on, right? But I think this is the ultimate one. Basically, you want to do the opposite of what they're saying. If they're telling you Bitcoin should be worth at this price, probably means that they want to pick up more. And probably means that you should do the opposite of what they say. And the next time JP Morgan comes out with a prediction and says, okay, it's worth at this price at a very high valuation, that's probably when we should pay attention and say, okay, maybe we're near a local top. So I think this is very, very important to pay attention to, that they have just cut their estimate about 1/4. I don't think it's to help people. I think it's to their benefit to try to cause that uncertainty and doubt right now so that maybe they and their clients and their buddies could be picking up here. So there you go. Let me make sure I didn't miss any of these super chats. Where are you staking your ETH, Exchange, DeFi, dApps, Lido? Actually, for ETH right now, I have it into, where do I have it? I have ETH and Celsius right now. I think they're paying out the best for ETH. But it's only up to 30, and then it starts cutting out. So I believe I have about 30 in Celsius, and the rest, I think I'm just holding on to. Michael, people are really freaking out on this American Competes bill and a very anti-crypto. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, okay? I'm not going to try to downplay it, but it's the same thing what happened when the infrastructure bill was coming out and people were freaking about that too, right? This is not a done deal. A lot of attention has been made to it. So if you are concerned, do something about it. Call your congressperson and complain about it. Get it voted out, right? But, just panicking over it is not going to do any good. And we have seen many of these situations before where there's new bills that claim that it will kill crypto and harm it in some way, but ultimately we continue forward and we get through it. Algorand, and they were a sponsor. Algorand sponsoring drone racing. You thought it was pretty cool. That should not be the reason why you get into Algorand. Just like if you see Litecoin advertised during a UFC fight, that shouldn't be the incentive for you to get into Litecoin, right? So I do like Algorand, but I think you got attracted to it for the wrong reasons. But anyways, moving on from here, of course, besides what JP Morgan says and what we should do, you know what? You look at things that measure how healthy Bitcoin is, okay? This is what's really important. And I mentioned this on Jeb's show, but you look at hash rate, all-time high right now, all-time high. What's also all-time high is the liquid supply. Okay, it did not drop. No, it didn't drop at all. It dropped a little bit back in May, June, July of 2021, but since then it's been going up, which means there's a lot of accumulation and holding. And then you look at addresses, it's going up. And you look at long-term holders, of course, that's going up. This is why Bitcoin is going to continue forward and continue to grow and make new highs. Because everything that's actually measuring the health of the network is rising. Nothing indicates that Bitcoin itself is actually getting weaker. Everyone's paying attention to price, I know. That's the number one thing people look at, whether or not Bitcoin is healthy. But if you're looking at a network perspective, it hasn't been better since any time before now. Okay, so think about that. So Bitcoin will continue forward, and we just have to get through this. And same thing, Bitcoin supply distribution. If you look at the number of people holding 0.1 Bitcoin to 0.01 Bitcoin, 0.001 Bitcoin, right? Anything up to 1 Bitcoin. So this is just like the retail people that's kind of coming into the space, dabbing in for the first time, right? And this number is increasing for every single category. So it does show that there's still interest too among retail investors, just kind of getting in, right? Getting their foot wet, or feet wet, I should say, dipping their toes in. And you know what? The more we see of this, the better, because many that dip their toes in, they realize what's actually happening and they stick around, and that's what we want. That's what we want. Well, let's see what I miss here. Lewis, is Anchor protocol safe? You should watch some of my videos where I talked about Anchor and I use it myself. If American Competes Act affects these changes, their users will teach themselves to do DEXs, wallets, and they will enhance decentralization. I don't disagree with that. I do think this is why DEXs are important. Decentralized exchanges are important, and DeFi is important, right? Yes, I do agree with that. Also, what else is there? Well, this is breaking news. Arizona may actually make Bitcoin legal tender. So there is a bill that's proposed in Arizona by a senator to actually make Bitcoin officially legal tender so that businesses will have to accept Bitcoin as real money. So that's actually quite interesting. Well, of course, we've heard this overseas with El Salvador, but now we may get entire states, to do so as well. So, obviously, again, adding to the growing fundamentals of Bitcoin. And Texas, too. Texas is turning to Bitcoin miners, right? We know Bitcoin miners, they require land, they require a lot of cheap electricity, And that is what Texas is all about. Trying to entice the Bitcoin miners to come aboard. And you know what? I think it's working. I hear a lot of people moving to Texas these days. And this is overall good for the state and good for Bitcoin. So, again, adding the fundamentals is good stuff. Good stuff. Lastly, I don't know if this is good or bad, but Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports FOMO back into Bitcoin. So, some of you guys remember his story. His first stint with Bitcoin, he got in, got out in like 30 days. He did not like it, didn't get it. You know, he thought he could affect it. He just panic sold, and now recently he just bought about $1 million to the Bitcoin, around 37,000. So he's actually in the green today, and he just bought yesterday. So congratulations, Dave. Not that he needs any more money, but let's see if he could stick around this time for a long haul. Because last time was like 30 days, or maybe even less than 30 days. I think it may have been like just 2 weeks, but we'll see. We will see. All right, and then last, I just want to talk about Polygon real quick, because Polygon did just announce that they have now over 7,000 dApps within their ecosystem, which is very, very positive. So they are growing by leaps and bounds right now, and there are statistics that show that Polygon is even growing them faster than Ethereum. But today also, the Beatles, if you're a Beatles fan, right, there will be memorabilia put out on Polygon as NFTs by I think the son of John Lennon, Julian Lennon. So those of you guys that are Beatles fans, you'll be able to get some cool NFTs that's on top of Polygon. So that's one of the big draws to Polygon, is that there is a lot of NFTs and marketplaces and collections on there because there's low fees and you don't have to worry about it. So, you know, just to let you guys know, something cool that came out recently. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. You know, today's a good day overall. It's a good day overall. Very encouraging. And we'll see if this continues into tomorrow. All right, let's do some Q&A. Slick Slack. Missed my last super chats. Joking. Thoughts on Froyo games? I have no thoughts. That's why I didn't answer, because I have no clue what it is. I appreciate the super chats, but I have no idea what it is. Ranger. Thoughts on Joe Biden's pending executive order? There is no pending executive order. Let's see here. Oh, I still have not DCA'd. Me personally, I did, but I forgot to do it. Yeah, I said I was going to do it on Thursday, but I'm just going to wait until next week. It's okay. It's okay to wait one more week. Any tracker for Polygon? They have AMM, worth looking at. The roadmap looks interesting. What do you mean tracker? Like a roadmap tracker? I mean, the best thing you could do in terms of tracking roadmap is basically just follow their Twitter, or any project's Twitter, because nowadays everyone is using Twitter extensively to get the news out, and they should be. It's a really good place for it. Of course, you could follow their blogs and stuff, but there's no all-around roadmap anymore. No one spends time to do that. Let's see here. Joe says, Luna is super undervalued. Would you keep going hard or moderate DCA approach to reach my goal? I don't know what your goal is. I mean, you're just trying to DCA down? I mean, if you're trying to get the price down, then yeah, just keep DCAing. That's the only way to do it. So I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but yeah. I like Luna quite a lot. I know there's some controversy recently with Abracadabra and whatever, and time and all that nonsense. Luna is beyond that. Okay, Luna is beyond that, and they are still onboarding a lot of new dApps, and they're minting more UST, which means there's more burning of Luna. So I do like them. Kelly asks, is Gala and AMP a buy at these prices? Well, I don't remember what their price is. Gala, let's take a look. Gala, yeah, they're definitely down. Way down from their November high. So they were at 70 cents. I would say it's a pretty good pickup. You could definitely see that there's like a bottom that formed here. Gala had a big bump because of metaverses, you know. They're a gaming platform, which I think they're a good one. And I do think that this could be a good buying opportunity. And looking at AMP is not as drastic. Yeah, AMP has just been kind of hovering around. Actually, in November, they didn't do anything. AMP, I think it's weaker now. I would hold off a little bit more on AMP because the economy in terms of retail sales, you know, is still weak, and AMP is all about that. AMP partnered with Flexa to be spent, you know, at retail places. And right now we know that's a weak market. So, ADEX launch tomorrow. Do you think it'll be better than Sunday Swap? So, you know, at a high level, I'm looking at like ADEX and Muesli Swap. And they both do things differently than Sunday Swap. So they're both kind of doing something with order books and like a one-to-one kind of pairing of order books. So it's different than AMM. So can it work better? Sure. But it does seem like the congestion right now on Cardano is a real issue. Whether or not that's just due to Sunday or due to just the network. So that's the hurdle right now. Let's just put it that way. Explain DCA, dollar cost average. I mean, just Google it and you'll know what it means. What do I say to a person that keeps saying Bitcoin is a Ponzi? Don't. I've learned long ago there are certain people that are receptive to new ideas and certain people that are not. They like to stay in their comfort zone, and it doesn't matter what you say, you can't convince them. And that's okay, because if they're not convinced, you're not affected by it, right? So you don't have to win that conversation because you're just going to get frustrated. Those of us that have an open mind, we've learned about Bitcoin, we learned about crypto, we're in this space, we're better off for it. Those that refuse to learn, they will be left in the dust. That's just honestly how it is. You could try and try, but there are certain people, and then you can include Peter Schiff as one of those people, that will just refuse no matter what. No matter what logic you present, they will refuse it. So it's a lost cause. It's a lost cause. I was asking your thoughts on it, saying it's cool to see a blockchain company advertising drone racing. I guess it's cool, but first of all, I'm not into drone racing. And second of all, I'm not sure if any of these advertisements in these kind of events actually is doing any good. You know, I don't know. It's a tough thing. Like if you're a blockchain company like Algorand, you know, should you be advertising in drone events or F1 or any of these events? Are they really helping you draw in the users you want? It's questionable, right? But then again, if you don't get the word out, how are people going to learn about you, right? So it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you guys go. Are you expecting a bounce or a dump? You know what? I'm expecting a bounce, and I think we're seeing that already. We're not seeing the traditional bounce that we have seen before where Bitcoin just pumps up like 3,000 points in a single day. What we're seeing is a slow, gradual rise, and I do believe that is very encouraging that we are already reversing on our way up. Right now, Bitcoin and crypto is very dependent on what Wall Street decides and does, but I think Wall Street is also realizing that they over-panicked and oversold, and they're starting to come back into tech, and I think it's the same thing with crypto, right? So we're starting to see fear dissipate a little bit. We're starting to see things come up. This 33,000, right, could be our local bottom, just like 28,000 was back in July of 2021. When we finally found that true bottom and we started heading up, it was very similar to now. Very similar. So I guess we will wait and see. We'll wait and see. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Do you think LTC is undervalued? No, I don't. I think there is no point where I think LTC is undervalued because you should just buy Bitcoin instead of Litecoin. There is nothing good about Litecoin. Nothing that makes it attractive to hold on to. Let's just put it that way. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.